Time now for the weekly review segment. I have been joined in the studio by George AC. He is the Director of Communications for NADMO. Also, I have here Daniel Kwesi Ashama. He is a former Member of Parliament for Buim. We are also expecting Kwame Jantua Esquire, member of the CPP. Gentlemen, good morning to you, and a happy new year, since I haven't seen in your view this year.
Good morning and many happy returns.
Okay, and many happy returns.
Yeah.
We keep saying that it's we know that the road will be rough, but we'll get there. I'll ask all of you when you think we'll get there. Mr. Ashama, when will we get there?
We'll get there before you die.
I'm sure.
Or we, not you alone. We'll by all means get there.
Mr. AC, please, you want to conclude? Are you done? Okay, Mr. AC.
Where are we getting to?
I mean, a path where we can confidently say Ghana is developed.
Oh, definitely. Once we have embraced the democratic process and the Ghanaian people are making that determination as and when Party A or Party B takes over, gradually
we'll get there.
We'll get there. That's the beauty of democracy. When people disagree with you and they feel no, step aside and let the other one take. It sends the right signals that when you get the opportunity, you roll up your sleeves and get to work. We would definitely get there.
Okay, so this is the first time we are meeting after the election. So
Yes.
congratulations to Mr. Ashama. Your party won overwhelmingly.
Yes.
And better luck next time to you,
Yes,
Mr. AC, as well. It's an election. It's democracy.
Yes, we understand the game.
Absolutely.
We understand.
And
You win some, you lose some.
of course, that's what it is.
Congratulations to the NDC and my brother, Honorable Ashama. We wish them all the best. We are there going to be a very constructive opposition. We'll give the criticism when necessary.
Absolutely.
We'll commend them when they do right.
Okay.
Yes.
For you, how has the feeling been like for you, Mr. Ashama?
I'm a type of person who don't I always look out for the problem to solve.
Okay.
So the quantum of the votes shakes my heart that we have a responsibility.
Okay. Overwhelming responsibility for that matter.
Overwhelming responsibility.
To whom much is given, much is expected.
Much is expected. I told George so. So I know he will also be preparing to tell me so tomorrow. So it is a very good thing. One side of it is that I thank God that, yes, Ghanaians have listened to us and made their choice. But it is all about Ghana.
Yeah.
It is all about Ghana. And so this time it is not just to be moving about, being happy. The job must start. And it has started. You saw what happens on the inaugural day when John Jinakwa said we have only 5 hours. I think it is part of the question, 5 hours for the fuels to finish. Yeah, people say, fear-mongering and all that. But if you're a business person, such alarms are very good. But that singular statement. But if you read through the whole statement, it's about 2 days. Even though it's said 5 hours, 2 days. By that singular statement, it whipped up everybody. His Excellency have to whip up all the stakeholders to come to the round table. A decision was taken. What happens the following day? We hear a different good story from His Excellency. So that is how things must move. Because when you look at Ghana today, our black star is no more black.
What color is it?
It's turning gray.
Gray.
Yes, it's no more black. It should be black, so that very deep black, because of not blaming anybody for it. Because when you have a conversation with people, they will tell you that we have structural problems, structural problems. And these structural problems did not start just 8 years ago. The only thing is that it became worse. So right now, you see the song we have just sung, we are going. Where are we going? George asks, are we moving towards north, south, east, or west? It's
we are on
about
the path of development.
Yes, the structural problem that we have, that is it. Because within this short period, I've met a lot of people from the industry.
Okay.
And when they talk from Ministry of Trade, they say when you go to these people, they don't even have a data. That doesn't start from Nanado's time. They don't have a data. If you move to Guta now and ask them to give you the list of people who import second-hand tires, they can't get the figure for you. People, the number, specific number, not just tell me, oh, they will be about. They will be about cannot be used to take a proper decision for proper planning.
Data is important.
You can say about. About is not a figure. And then when it asks of those who are importing cars, you can't get the specific number. So how do we plan? It's part of the structure. You get it right. When we started with another industry, agric, we started, then somebody says, oh, we are going to do planting for food and job. Okay, that's fine. Do you know what the fertilizer importers is? They said the government gave the contracts small to people who hitherto were not importing fertilizer.
Okay, so hold the thought for me. I mean, it's just preliminary reactions I'm picking for, but you're getting to the substance of the matter. Mr. You see, I mean, I asked him, I mean, how they processed the victory. How about you from the NPP side? How are you processing, or how did you process the loss, especially the magnitude of defeat?
Yeah, thank you. I think I must say good morning to your listeners and our viewers. I know some are online as well, watching and all that. And good morning to all the leadership and rank and file of the NPP and the generality of the Ghanaian people. Let me formally congratulate the NDC on their emphatic victory. And let me agree with you that we wish ourselves better luck next time. Yes, some of us were really surprised at the loss. To be honest with you, I didn't anticipate it. I thought we were really going to recapture power, but the system was tense and hot. But I thought people will appreciate that, yes, once we are on course, we need to renew the mandate. But they thought otherwise and brought the NDC and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama into power. It's okay. We have accepted it, when our team, our digital team actually got collated and got within, I think, 14 hours after election closed, were able to calm down and concede defeat. Dr. Baumia conceded defeat, which was acknowledged by His Excellency the President on his inaugural day, that it actually helped calm down tension. But that notwithstanding, we're still seeing tension all over. The NDC people are all over the place. I don't know why they are doing that. Because, look, you have power. There's going to be appointments, okay? People are going to be appointed CEOs and other things, and positions that hitherto are being held by politically exposed people like myself. There'll be a replacement, right? So I don't see why you should go chasing even civil servants. You're chasing them out. You get, because you don't know the political figures and then the civil service people. You get it. They're just driving everybody out. You get it. It's ludicrous. It's ludicrous. And you see, sometimes you see it the first day, second day, yes, it happens, but in the week, moving on, no. It doesn't, it's not right. I think the government should call them to order. I must commend the Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the NDC. I think he has come out to
the president has equally done same.
Yes, the president was the power to, instruct the police and the military to clamp down on this conduct. So there will be official appointments. The president has issued a release asking all DCs,
MMDCs,
MMDCs to go out, and then government appointees in the assemblies to go out. That's it. In the same spirit, CEOs and others, once there's appointment, you cannot hold yourself.
And I heard you reference say, you say that, for politically exposed persons like you, you will also be replaced. And so for you, you psyched up yourself for it already.
Of course. I cannot. I've psyched myself that no, there's definitely going to be an appointment of a substantive director of communication who will buy into the programs of the NDC. The NDC is aligned and must carry out the government's programs and projects. That's how it is. Okay. So I don't have a problem with that at all. And I know in the same spirit, a lot of people who are politically exposed and political appointees must know this. You get it? So that is how it is going to be. Okay. And so the people who are going around, they should
calm down,
exercise restraint and stop that. There'll be substantive appointments. We have taken it in good faith. We set up a committee to go into it to see what actually caused this destructive loss. We know that a lot of our people didn't come out, and I've always said that if somebody doesn't go out to vote for you,
it's a vote against you.
It's a vote against you.
Yeah.
It's a vote against you, my sister. You get it? So we need to look at it. Why did our people not come to vote? The other people, they went out. They were determined, okay? And that was good. You get it? Yeah. So our committee should do their work, and then we'll review and regroup, review, Absolutely. And possibly
the NDC did the same in 2016.
Yes. And we did say, in 1996, one of your callers said it, we had 61 members of parliament in a 200 parliament house. We were able to get the majority. We will beat them, and so the majority. Whether micro minority or whatever, I got no problem.
Because
with that.
It's politicians. You will tease each other.
There'll be those, jabs around. So it's part of the game.
There's a refrain that keeps coming up. That you keep saying that, and it's not just you. Yeah. Many of the NPP members keep saying that. You were confident you were going to, retain power. Now, is it that, on hindsight, does it look like you really misread the mood of the people? On hindsight,
we didn't. But yes, the resource showed otherwise. We didn't. We knew that yes, things were tough. Okay. But because we put in measures and structures in place, the Guinean will understand and say, okay, get it. But to be honest with you, the only day I have an inkling that something is possibly likely to was the day we had our final rally at the University of Ghana.
What made you think
when the power went off?
Oh,
you get it. It's a spiritual matter. I just felt within me what's
that is
happening.
How you
that was the day
you interpreted it.
Yeah, that was the day something dawned on me that no, all is not right for us. That was because I have been confident throughout. We've been here with you and the arguments. But that day when the light went, then I asked myself, the other side, are their lights also off? Then they said no. I said, what's happening? And it wasn't just 2 minutes or 5 minutes. It was 45 minutes to 1 hour or more.
Wow.
Yes. And I was there and I said, no, this is not a good signal. Because all those who matter in the state management affairs were on that days.
Yeah, that's
okay?
True.
Then how?
Would the lights go out? Not for even a minute or 5.
The president of the state was there, the vice president. Okay? All those who matter were there. And light goes off, and for 45 minutes to 1 hour.
Wow.
It's not fixed.
Sincerely.
In fact, that thing spiritually, I just
you saying it now and the meaning you put to it.
Yes. That was the only time I felt all is not well with us. Yeah. That was the only time in the whole campaign process because my confidence level was high.
Was on 100.
So high. And as you said, when the resource actually came, I was hit. So what? it's unbelievable. Somebody would say incredulous. But it's happened. It's a good lesson to us.
That it's a moment of reflection.
Yes, the committee must come out, some of the things, decisions we took and all that. On the hindsight, maybe weren't too popular with the people.
And I mean, he said he saw the sign on the last rally, on the day of the last rally, when the lights went out. Did you get any sign too? About the magnitude of your victory?
Brother, I always told him that they're going to lose. And I'm surprised he saw the signs at the last day. I always tell him he's going to lose. Because he was holding some document. I told him, Amakwata is deceiving you. George, go to Parliament. The proper record is there. He will not listen. He was carrying the book everywhere and saying, hey, this document you are carrying is not good. No, you know, the late Honorable Jaku, the time we lost in
2016?
Yes, 2016. By that time, he was alive. Then we were moving out there, we met. By that time, we were all members of I said, Honorable Ashama, you see, when you people are going to lose, we told you, you will not listen. This is that you have lost. We were telling you, stop, stop, stop. You will not stop. So
what is the problem? Because in opposition, you see when your competitor is losing.
Yes.
But when you're in government, somehow you don't see, because you exhibit the same characteristics of what you pointed out to your opponent when you were in opposition. So why is it that in government you all of a sudden there's this blindness? What is it? Is it the power that blinds you?
No, actually,
because both of you are guilty of this.
Actually, when you're in power,
you don't see anything.
You become a bit blind.
Wow.
I experienced it whilst I was a member of parliament.
Really?
You may have good ideas, but types of problems that are coming, you have to solve, do this. You even forget. I said it on the radio one day that as a member of parliament, I forgot to pay my kids' school fees. People were chastising on social media. That was the fact.
Wow.
That was the... Meanwhile,
you were that inundated?
But I was paying some people's kids' school fees. I forgot mine. So when you are there, that's why I am praying for the NDC. I'm a member of NDC, but I am praying that God should open our eyes and ears.
May you listen to the right people.
Oh, yes. We will. Let me put it that way, that we will listen to the right people, because we will have to take the figures into consideration and the progress that people are talking about into consideration. And when we set our mind that we are going to govern seeing every Ghanaian as a citizen of this country, but not as a member of a new patriotic party, that can push all of us forward. Protecting everybody's business should be key. Seeing that, that is when you have that position, don't think about politics anymore. Think about Ghana, the Black Star. That is it. But on a lighter note, you see, we're telling George and MPP that there is doom so, and they refuse to accept. That is why God took off the light that day, for them to realize that really there is doom so.
Oh.
On the and that is why on the last day we were telling there is doom so, there is doom so. They say no, bring your timetable. This and so God has decided on their final campaign day that you take the light for these people. No, that was what happened. He said that he said he could not understand. It's spiritual. He said it, isn't it? That is spiritual. So God said that you people, every day Ghanaians are telling that there is light off. He said no. Now today, even the technicians, they cannot do anything. I'm taking my light. And God took the light. So I am praying. I'll continue to say this. Take my words for it. I am praying that the governance of this country in Mahama's second term should be governance for everybody.
Okay.
Because a good entrepreneur who is an MPP person will employ a good qualified NDC person. So that should be at the back of it, to protect everybody's business. But those who took Ghana money, as for that one, even if you want to crucify them, I'm with you.
Hey. Thank you very much for your
submission. I say you. I didn't say Mahama. You should have said that you will not crucify nobody.
I mean, I'm not in government.
Aura will be much ado about nothing.
Okay, we'll talk about Aura. We'll talk about Aura just for you. so that you can express
If
your views
wishes
on
were
it.
horses, that is wish.
Mr. Jantua, welcome.
Good morning.
Kindly draw close to your microphone for me.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good to have you.
Thank you. Sorry for being late. I was on another channel.
We understand the
For
work
sure.
you are doing for Mother Ghana. You have a lot of fans, so do you know that?
Really?
You don't know. Your fans are plenty.
I don't know.
Anyway, they say they appreciate the job you are doing for Ghana.
Okay.
I mean, you have had your bites already in relation to the outcome of the elections, because I was meeting them for the first time after the polls. I did ask for their reactions as well. So I will start the main conversation.
I like George's reaction.
Just well, he says he noticed something was going to go
Sobriety.
terribly wrong when their lights
I
went
like
on.
George's reaction.
Sobriety.
What do you like about the reaction?
Before elections, sure. Ubwakra.
Mr.
We
Isi,
are
you listening?
winning. We are winning. 100%. Nothing can stop us.
Then
Something small happened.
Kitty
And I
way.
think he's one person in the MPP who has been brave.
that's true.
He's been brave. And after elections, I've been on a few of the media stations with him. And the way he communicates acceptance makes you realize he understands the situation that they find themselves in.
But he's a communications
It is
person.
unfortunate that his own party people, hierarchy, don't see his worth. And that's the pain. And for me, some of these things, one in terms of the previous government, one wasn't criticizing all. Because when President Akufo-Addo came in the early days, 2017, we were all saying things because of the things he told us.
Absolutely.
And we're all happy. We're all happy. And then after 2018, when we came out and Oferata was taking loans and the warnings were coming in, that is when some of us started cautioning, not criticizing, cautioning. But yentie, when the yentie came in, then it made things worse. And then put people like George's presentations on the media in a situation where they couldn't really express some of the things that their party was doing, and they had to follow suit. Because if they didn't follow suit, they'll be victimized. And they had no choice but to do it. But I'm glad that a few of he and my good friend Pargrieve, when you listen to them, they accept the challenge that they are faced and hope that the party would be able to revert and look inwardly to change some of the things going forward. But unfortunately, they might not listen to him, they might not listen to Palgrave, because they've put them on a certain ladder that doesn't penetrate upwards. But I hope he can. I hope George can have the opportunity when the gathering starts in terms of doing the autopsy of their loss, they will listen to people like him. Because in as much as sometimes he's ferocious in some of the things he says, he is also a man who listens to reason.
That's true.
And I hope they would listen to him, so that we need MPP, we need NDC,
You need CPP.
we need CPP. And for us, this is a huge opportunity. Why? No, it's not a question of leader. It's not a question of leader. It's a huge opportunity.
Leader,
Because, no, because come 2028, it's a level playing field.
Sure.
And right now, with this election and the results of this election, there's no more 8 years. It's 4. If we, in the CPP and in the Nkrumah's movement, can gather ourselves And we are beginning to start looking at things like that. Gather ourselves and come together and prove to the Ghanaian, because right now you've got to prove to the Ghanaian that you can rule. Prove to the Ghanaian
that you're a worthy alternative.
You're a worthy alternative that people should vote for. Things can happen.
All right. So we've picked the preliminary reactions already. You have also had your reaction weeks prior. Let's talk about the situation with energy. We first got that. I mean, I think everybody sat up when we heard that we just had a few hours of fuel left. Subsequently, there has been a 12-member committee put together to avert a looming power crisis. Mr. Jantwa, you are in the energy space. I mean, have things always been that bad? And Ghanaians were not being told what the situation was?
The problem with the energy sector has got to do with finance. And it's always been a challenge for all governments. And we haven't really been able to handle the cash waterfall mechanism that brings revenue into the sector. Because that cash waterfall mechanism is dependent on payments of electricity distributed and electricity supplied. And with the lack of that, it's created challenges for us. I didn't understand why, when the government, especially with the WAPCO pigging and the WAPCO maintenance, if I can put it that way, to stop me from going into explaining what pigging. I can explain it, but you know, generally what pigging is
to clean the tunnel?
To clean the tanks and to see the integrity of the tank. But to be able to do that, you need pressure to run through the entire tank. So the pressure will start from, is it Togo or Benin, where the pipe is, and you run the equipment through it right down to Takrady.
Okay.
And that is where you need the gas to be able to do that. And as it's pigging, it gives you the integrity of the pipe.
Okay.
And I don't understand why in October, when the Ministry of Energy told WAPCO to defer to January. We haven't been told the reason why that happened. When my good friend, Honorable Krapa, was putting out his statement on Facebook, he didn't really tell us why we decided to defer it to January. Was this a financial thing? Was it a capacity thing? What was it? If we knew what it was, then we'll be able to ascertain the reasons why it was deferred. But we don't know. And yes, it goes to show we haven't done exploration to production in 8 years. Gas is the main fuel with regards to our electricity and how we fire our generators, especially in the Tema Enclave. In the Tema Enclave, you have reserve flow from Etuabo to Tema, where the IPPs are. And so that has been a challenge. We need to be able to make sure that there's adequate financing for electricity. There's adequate financing to buy stock on standby. That is the situation. But I must say, there is some of the IPPs do have stock that could last a few weeks. Which I don't think would have caused too much damage. But yes, definitely some doomsday would have happened in certain areas. I would prefer the new energy minister coming in not to work or play the politics of blame,
should get the work done,
but to find solutions. Now, he's an experienced individual. He's seen the challenges of our electricity challenge. He needs to work closely with the finance minister, especially on the cash waterfall mechanism and especially on the finances that are required. Needs to plan very well, and above all, needs to look at the quantum of financing that we need for the year, nearly 1,240 million cedis, to be able to to run the energy sector in terms of availability of electricity going forward this year. That is crucial. So the two should be able to work together to help us, because without electricity, we have no country. Sure. Electricity is the spine of everything in this country. And so for me, that's the first point of call. I must say, President Mahama is quite experienced in the energy sector. And you see, whatever happens to you, you should be grateful. If President Mahama hadn't gone through the doomsday in the first time of his tenure, today he'll find it difficult looking at how to solve it. But immediately he seems to know what has happened. He put a team together and they are working, which I think is a plus to him. So going forward, let's see how.
So you commend the response, the quick response.
Yes, I commend that quick response. You cannot joke with energy. And I keep saying, let not us politicize energy. Everybody bring your shoulders to the wheel, and let's make sure that we have a vibrant energy sector. I like the thoughts of President Mahama indicating that he's going to work closely with the private sector. And when you come to the AGI, we have all the sectors of government there. And we tend to have a lot of research in some of these things. So working together with government will help all of us. Right. I think it's key. But most of all, communicate anything to the people. I mean, the last government didn't take communication easy. Let every step of the way communicate to the people so that the people are aware. If there's going to be doomsday, communicate way in advance so that people can plan. If people know they can plan, they are ready to be amenable. Yeah. It's when they know they can't plan. I do my monthly shopping to put in my freezer for the month. Doomsday has come. You didn't tell me. I've gone to do it. If there's anything I say, they don't want that. But if you tell me, I know, okay, I'm not going to buy a month. I'll buy probably a week so that I know. So communication for me is key.
Crucial.
Yes.
Okay. And Mr. Chama, seems like you have a feather in your cap in terms of the response to the looming power crisis. But, I mean, did you, as a government, then in waiting, did you appreciate the magnitude of the challenge, especially during the transition period?
In terms of energy?
Yes.
It's been, I should say, it has hit our chests in such a way. Because, like my brother said, proper communication has not been there. MPP adopted political communication where they want to just deceive people to win power. But you know, before Mahama left office, what did the MP people say? Oh, excess capacity. So it means by the time he left office, he left you an excess capacity. The only thing is to pay for it. And they complained so much. They complained so much. In the year 2022, when His Excellency John Dramani Mahama have the Crossroad Conference at Kimpiski, he mentioned it to them that the excess capacity you are talking about is reducing. It's reducing, so government do something about it. They didn't listen. Now, you left office, that very day that you are leaving office, we had an announcement that if you don't do anything quick, there will be light off. If that doomsday were to start on that day, I will not be here because you need power to work. So the question now is, why? Those of us who have worked with industry, you plan what we call it lead period or lead time. Maybe you produce the goods for customer A, B, C. So you plan the whole month. You plan. So also the government need to plan the energy or gas supply. Once we know that it will take time, like colleague has mentioned, senior colleague has mentioned, that you need to pay the tanks and or pigeon. You do all these things. Government knows that. Government, Nanado's government knew that very, very well. So why didn't you do it? Even if you borrow, you are not the one going to pay. Why didn't you make such arrangements? Before we just come into power and this announcement is made. Even if it is 1 week more, and you look at importation treatment before you can use it to fire the thermal plants, they say it takes 23 weeks. It takes 3 weeks and over. Why didn't you plan for the nation? So it's like they are behaving like bitter losers, which is very bad for this nation. Because the businesses that are in this country does not belong to NDC alone. They are also inclusive. So to me, they didn't do well for not planning, at least even for 1 month. Even if you are going to borrow or have a stakeholder meeting, GRIDCO, the value chain people in the energy sector, you have to have a discussion with them.
Could the NDC side have insisted on that, especially during the transition period? Because elections were done December 7th, 8th, the results were declared. 9th, thereabout, let's say, I think that's when transition started. The committees eventually outdoored and then they started working. Could the NDC side have insisted a bit more in relation to, these things you're talking about, a month, bringing the stakeholders together to talk about the situation, or because you were a government in waiting, you had little power?
No, they could have. I've agreed with you. But depending upon the information that was on the table during the transition period, there are several things that will be on the table. You get right? Mm-hmm. And depending upon, because as at the time they were saying that there's shortage of fuel, Crapper came out to say that they had a plan and so Jinapor was lying. Mm-hmm. He was the one managing that. So it depends upon the type of information given during the transition time. Because the person who is in the steer was even saying that Honorable Jinapor was telling lies. Mm. So how do you say this? And that is why I see them as a bitter losers. Because bring out the informations, let us plan for the nation. That's all. Okay. And that was what has not been done. Mm. And so today, if you tell me, go and then continue to do your work and all this, fine, that is true. Mm. We are not going to blame anybody. But you must also accept your incompetence, that you didn't plan for just for 1 month for energy. Even if you don't have the money, you can talk, bring the stakeholders together, GRIDCO, ECG, all the people, those who are lifting oil, the value chain, bring them together. Oh, this is the situation at hand. We don't have money right now. So we think you collaborate with the new government so that we push things forward. You see that immediately His Excellency called the meeting, the World Bank was there, all the value chain people were there. Now a solution was gotten. Why didn't we do that? Okay. So to me, like His Excellency said, this is not the time to be putting blame on anybody. We just have to work and move forward and ensure that the lights are on for everybody. I agree with that.
All right. And is there any reason the picking was postponed to January?
Well, I don't have any official position
or explanation to that effect.
Explanation to that, but politically, I'm expert to see it. But politically, you think it would have been prudent for that to have been done at that time? You think so? No, I wouldn't. So, politically, I wouldn't think October.
Because elections was near.
The elections was near. And there's, as he said, people were, there was that suspicion that it would doom so, we had said doom CSA when we're doing all the repairs and everything. So you would have had a heck of time convincing the Ghanaian that it wasn't doomso, it was pigging or whatever they are saying. You get it? And the timing would have been inappropriate, absolutely inappropriate.
You thought your opponents would have capitalized on it?
And we were even upbeat that we're winning the election. So it wasn't politically motivated to have shifted it to 20th January. You get it? We thought we needed time. Psychologically, it was inappropriate for that to be done at that time. At the nick of time, get into election. You're shooting yourself in the foot. Okay. So I think
you think your opponents perhaps would have probably capitalized on it?
Why not? We would have made a huge capital out of that. You get it? So I think whoever made that decision was right.
But don't you think, it's something that would upset Ghanaians if even though there's no official explanation out there, if they deduce or think that this pegging that was supposed to be done in October was shifted to January, if they ever think that this was politically motivated, they would rather
No, there was a technical, they found out whether technically it could be
postponed.
And then they agreed.
But,
you get it? So they had that technical.
Yeah, so even
inkling.
though we don't have any official explanation,
Yes.
if there is anybody that thinks that this was done because we're nearing an election, don't you think that person will be very disappointed? Because it will be more like you are sacrificing, our comfort.
There was something that was done.
Yeah.
The deregulated market.
Yes.
And then about a few days to election, price adjustments were done. And some people were angry. Who does that? Who does that? You get it? You thought the system, you see, so it would have been a serious issue and would have jeopardized things.
You would laud the person who decided that.
I think it was once they sought the technical advice and it was cleared that yes, it can be rescheduled. I thought that was important. And let's come to the issue. John Jinapo, they say we had about 5 hours. At the time, it was 13:31, I understand, from Joy FM Studios, forgive me. You get it?
That's okay.
How many days now? You get it? And some are saying it was a hyperbole or whatever.
It was an exaggeration?
No, you get it. It's meant to psychologically cause disaffection for the government. Then
Which government?
But at the time,
So the immediate past
government.
You get it? Cause disaffection for that, and he's been buttressing and retreating that. You get it? That is a deliberate something, incompetence. No,
but
a lawyer here did say something. He's in the sector, and I've listened to Herbert Crapper. I've listened to Kojo Safuapoku. You get it? We'll be talking about that. He says it's a management issue. Cash flow.
Finance issue?
Yes, that's it. You get it? It's a cash matter. You get it? So when we were keeping the lights on, it was management. You get it? It was management because we owed. At a point, Asokli had to shut down. 259
why did
million.
you owe so much?
No, but as he said,
the cash waterfall mechanism.
Yes, if ECG is not able to raise it. In fact, all the experts in the energy sector had warned us. We're warning us that stop taking money from government's coffers and paying whatever shortfall there were.
But one of the huge problems too was the CD to dollar.
Yes,
right?
Exchange rate, definitely.
The exchange rate was a major player because
it was, and then there was a shortfall between what ECG is able to raise and then what is supposed to be paid.
And
the government must find it.
Also getting ECG to buy LCO.
Yes, you get it.
Or the LFO.
What is that?
The light crude oil.
Yes, those things, you get it. So those were the issues, okay? So it's all about management.
But
so you agree with them.
But then again, he talked about communication. How candid was government to the Ghanaian about the situation? I recall.
What was important is to keep the lights on, and the lights were on. How we're keeping it on wasn't for public consumption.
I recall.
It's not all that is for public consumption.
I recall when
yes.
The running mates to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was the energy minister.
Yes.
He was asked about the situation, and when people started, because at a certain point it became quite intense, and people were asking
those
for.
Were doomsday.
Well, you see,
now I want to focus on what happened in the recent.
And there were calls. There were calls for a timetable. When he says those who are calling for it can.
But you see that thing. I thought the media people were also,
but that's what he said.
I thought he shouldn't have spoken at the time.
Absolutely.
But, he were on his neck. What's he had to say something. That day, to be honest, politically, I thought it was appropriate for him to have responded. They were getting on his nerves.
We should bring our water table.
So that is it. But let me come to the issue. There's been the argument that two major IPPs, the AXA and Asogli, that were using the liquid whatever, and mostly they were using the gas and all that.
Okay.
And these liquid things are used in emergency situations.
Okay.
You get it, the crude and whatever. They use them in emergency when there's a shortfall and coal.
The light crude.
The light crude, yes, when there's a shortfall. Okay. So it's not the main ingredient for this thing. What is the main? What's available?
Okay.
You get it. So that's the and Herbert had told John about those
The
things.
transition
Yeah,
team
the
about-
transition things about those things. That you need those what liquefy was in emergency situations, and so it not matter that there's no. And then two, you see, when they were talking, fortunately he's been a member of parliament. Okay, my sister. When we were telling them, come to parliament, let's do these mini budgets. Eh? They were busy chasing majority. Come, let's do. We may win. You may win. We are going into election. Any party can win. You get it?
So if the budget had come earlier, it could have made a difference?
Why not?
Okay.
Because there's assurance of funds made available in the 68.1 billion mini budget appropriated, okay, or presented for the first quarter. You get it? About 20 billion of that is going into the energy sector alone.
Okay.
You get it? So once the players in the industry see that there's been appropriation for their sector, if you talk with them, they will be ready. You get it? So these are, please, you note it down. When you were speaking, I was noting.
When he finishes, I'll just
yes,
come to
thank
the
you.
response.
You get it? So you were busy, coming to occupy majority seats. And so when you occupy, we also say, okay, take it. We will not fight. You get it? We'll go away. And all those things, are part of the delay. Because he was saying, you should have done this, you should have done that. With what? You don't have money. And two, you get it? Like it or not, he's a player in the industry. The trust and confidence in our say-so in the energy sector had waned. True or false? So if you call them to sit down, you think they will listen to you? Especially when the mini budget had not been presented to give assurance that, 20 billion has been made appropriated for the sector. You call them, they won't mind you. They may even come. Whatever you say, they will just listen. They won't mind you. Okay? But there's a new government. When the president called them and spoke with them, they will listen. Because they are giving him the benefit of time. You get it? That he's just come in. So let's give him that trust and co.
Okay.
So he reposed that trust, compared to the then government who is going, and the mini budget had not been presented. You want them to do things in advance, okay? Even though in the agreement, the government that brings this fuel and other things for them and co. So you cannot blame us. We were managing it. Even, you see, if we were even buying those things on daily basis, how would you know? In the times that we kept the light on. Okay. If we were buying it daily basis or every 2 days, how will you know? What's important was that the lights were on. They were getting the fuel to power the.
It didn't matter how the light
was kept on. You get it. The Ghanaian wants the light to be on. Okay. So maybe we were doing 2 days, 2 days. How will you know? And so once we finish and we don't have access to budget and other things, we're not going to expect even the transition period. When people talk for money, they say, hey, why are you asking for money? You remember that? Yesterday I saw something, somebody said somebody was transferring about 2 billion a day, but there are payments to be made. The fact that you've won the election doesn't mean governance has ceased. Okay. You get it? So expenditure will be incurred. Okay. But when we do that, you want us to import, when the budget was presented on the 2nd, then 3rd, based on that budget, we go to say, bring $300 million worth of. So, do you know how upset that would be? Okay. You get it? Because a new government is coming in. You get it? Just manage it and let them take over. Yes, okay. So the cash waterfall angle, lawyer has spoken about it. I think ECG, I heard the president talking about privatization and others. Well, whatever will be in the interest of the Ghanaian, if by privatizing, the price will be manageable and efficiency will be brought to bear, and they'll be able to raise enough revenue to be able to make the cash waterfall mechanism efficient. I got no problem with that. After all, we are pro private orientation and co. So if a socialist party, okay, is now thinking the
but
private.
that conversation about bringing in the private sector
Yes.
to play precedes the NPP administration. You remember the Compact program?
Yes.
That's the U.S.
Millennium Challenge.
Yes, that was funding.
Yes.
And that was what
And
led
brought
to
PDS and all
unfortunately
those
didn't
things.
work and had
Yes,
to revert.
so-
This privatization, bringing in a private component
Yes,
to
yes.
ECG is not entirely new.
Yeah, so I am saying once it's going to bring efficiency to bear in the sector and we'll have our lights on, I am good for. I'm okay with that. You get it. And I'm ready to give the government
efficiency.
Yes, efficiency and then availability of power. You get it. Once there's going to be this government, I'm ready to give them the benefit of that. You get it. They've now taken office. They're going to look at the things and then based on their plan. In fact, last time I printed their manifesto. I said after the Bible, that's going to be my second Bible. Okay, and I'll be putting him
on his toes.
and that's what we're going to be doing.
All right.
So I think Ghanaians, there's no lackluster conduct by the previous government.
Okay.
It's a management situation, it's financial situation, and what was important was that we kept the light on. President Mahama even said we kept the light on and incurred $2.5 billion.
All right.
He gave us 4 years doom saw and incurred $2.5 billion, which is good.
Okay.
Now, you know, the Energy Commission has come out with a document on the power sector for 2025. And the amounts of funding that is required is pretty heavy. I would like a situation where it's taken into consideration with this particular committee that has been set up before the Minister of Energy
takes office officially.
Takes office. Because we need nearly 1,240 million to look at energy for this year.
100 million?
1.24 million, they said.
Okay.
Million.
It's a million.
According to the document.
The document.
What? Megawatts?
Dollars.
That's poultry, son.
No, let me get the document.
All right. So while you get the document, you wanted to. Mr. Chairman, you wanted to.
I think it's important that we look at that.
Okay, so I will come to you, Mr. Jantwa. Mr. Ashama, you wanted to make a quick response to some of the things that Mr. Isi was saying. So you have 3 minutes to do that.
NPP just have a negotiation problem, and if we have this type of minority, even though they have lost and we are telling them the right thing, I don't want them to continue in that tangent. Now, if you say we should come so that we pass the mini budget, and we didn't come, did the meeting that His Excellency have in its first day went through Parliament? Did the meeting went through Parliament? This is incompetence. Don't mind them. That is why they have lost. They don't want to listen. We are talking about management of this nation, not politics. We are not talking about all that he's talking about is politics. You don't think about even the MPP people who are doing business and they'll use power. You are saying NDC people didn't go to Parliament and pass what? That is the question. And Krapa didn't talk about mini budget. If you read Krapa's statement, I have it. He didn't talk about mini budget. He said they have planned everything. And this is the results of it. That is all that I want to say. So they should stop disturbing us so that we have a cool head to develop this nation. It is not that NDC didn't go here, NDC didn't. Where have they been? What have they told their majority leader then? When he was rushing to the what? The Supreme Court. This is not the time for those things. We want people to sit down. And that is why we are thanking God about the appointments that His Excellency have just made. Jinako has been there, so he knows, shall I say, the route in the energy sector or ministry. So let us see how we put our heads together. Because by the time we're leaving, we left excess capacity. We left excess capacity. George was talking about it, that it was expensive. George was, I was on the same debate table with him. Hey, it was expensive. How can you do that? Did you leave excess capacity as we are going? What has happened? Because somebody went to leave that power for this nation. What did they leave? So please, NPP will never learn. That is why we are, at this particular point, they should know if they ran company before, you should know that your actions borders on every citizen in this country.
Okay.
That is what you should be thinking about.
All right.
It is not about NDC, it's not about MPP. The approvals and acceptance and what we've gotten last was not in Parliament, was in the President's office. What was Nanado's office doing? You say we have won, we've lost election, so
Okay.
So this thing could not be done.
All right.
Then it means you are not thinking about Ghana, you are thinking about yourself.
Okay. Thank you very much for that position. Have you been able to get the document?
2025,
2020,
2025 energy outlook for Ghana.
Okay.
Demand and supply outlook. And the document was done December 2024. And let me read the section I was referring to.
Okay.
It indicates that in 2025, natural gas will remain the predominant fuel for thermal power facilities. The projected total natural gas consumption for electricity generation in 2025 is approximately 151.4 TBUT. In 2025, an estimated 344,387 barrels of HFO, heavy fuel oil, will be required for ASCA, it's a plant, to fuel some of its units. The total fuel expenditure for the year is estimated at $1,248.23 million, with $117.54 million US dollars, about 97.5%, expected to be used for the procurement of natural gas, while the remaining amount for the procurement of HFO to fuel some units of the ASCA plant. And I'm saying, with this amount of money required, it should be looked at now.
Okay. So you
As
want
to where we are going to find the money. We haven't done exploration to production in 8 years. So it could be that we'll have to purchase gas. I hope we don't have to purchase gas.
Okay.
I hope we can get our own gas to fire our plants.
Our plants,
But
okay.
I also hear, I'm yet to investigate it.
Okay.
I also hear that some of the plants have been exporting gas, which is against our law. I don't have the full details yet.
Okay.
I'm trying to get the full details. Well, they have been supplied, and what they are supposed to use, I think it's being supplied for the mining sector. Some of what's supposed to be used are being exported. Outside.
Wow. I mean, we'll have to do the digging
we have
and
to
find
dig
out.
in and find out how true that is.
Okay. Let me briefly pick your thoughts. I mean, delving or exploring your energy insights. The thought that the re-emergence of the conversation to introduce, private elements into the electricity company of Ghana. Are you for it, or you think it will be unnecessary?
I think especially on the revenue side, the revenue collection side, where ECG has found it very difficult to work on that. If that is privatized, yes. But I think a good discussion should be held with all stakeholders to get the right way of handling it. I'm not for privatizing entire ECG. I don't think so. I think we have the management to handle ECG. It is the revenue, the collection of the money. When PDS came, the short time PDS was in place, look at the difference it made. I also think that Ghanaian companies should be given the option to do it, because we can do it.
And Mr. Ashama, quickly,
Agree.
you agree with him?
Management contract. Not taking the whole ECG, the revenue aspect. Haptel and others, if you go and see, they have several accounts operating. I'm telling you. And some of us are praying, even today, if the laws allow, the Haptel must go. if the law, listen to me well, if the law allows, that Haptel must go today, because they are still there like saprophytes. They are still causing financial loss. So it is good we have such persons. And I also heard about is it Americans telling Ghana that we still have the opportunity to get our 190, the compact money that through PDS we lost. And so if that opportunity exists, especially at this particular time, it is good. Okay. And I agree with my brother too. Ghanaians
should be given the opportunity.
You see, we have a problem, but Public-Private Partnership Act was passed in 2020. And this should be a document that should be on the Ghanaians have money, but they don't have the right channel to partner with government for us to make money. And so if this act has been passed, in all spheres of the economy, let Ghanaians participate. Let us forget about this person belong to this political party. Let Ghanaians participate. Let Ghanaians make money, so that we move forward.
All right.
Now, just to also bring this to the fore, the nuclear, what do you call it, situation should be looked at very, very quickly. This government, the previous government, really didn't look at that situation in terms of funding of the nuclear agencies we've got that are pushing this nuclear thing for Ghana.
Okay.
There's some decision as to who we are going to use.
Yes.
But I think we should push that nuclear aspect, because that bit would create a lot of energy that would help us look at the industrialization of our country. And for me, that is where the question is. The industrialization of this country, where jobs will be created and people will be able to have decent lifestyles.
Okay.
It's got to do with energy. And energy is key to create the kind of jobs we are looking for.
Yes.
I think the issue of energy and Ghanaian participation in coal is good, but lawyer will agree that it needs heavy capital injection in that sector. Do we have the capacity? You get it. So that's why sometimes they partner with the foreigners and then they go into the area.
And planning is key.
Planning,
yes,
we can do it.
Yes, Ghanaians play major roles there. But you know, the kind of money you need to push in is very important. That's true. The issue of Haptel and others, you know, they don't just wake up to do what they're doing. There's a contract signed between them and government. A new government has come. They will go to review. They have the power. They review the contract if they think it's inimical to the progress of the energy sector and its revenue collection and co. They have the right
to. That's
the mandate the Ghanaian has given to them. You get it.
All
so,
right.
but it should be by law.
Fantastic.
Because if you do it arbitrarily, then the consequences.
That's where
the
judgment debts and stuff come in.
Yes,
all right. Let's move to our next conversation, which is it's sort of linked. The three ministerial nominees, Dr. Kasia Lato-Forson for the Finance Ministry, John Abdullah Jinapo for the Energy Ministry, and then Dr. Dominic Akuritinga Ayene for the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice office. I mean, is the president and your party that has made those nominations. What are your thoughts on the three individuals selected? First three out of the 60 we're expecting. What are your thoughts on these three selected for the various ministries?
Personally, I'll say excellent. But I told myself I must listen to Ghanaians. It is not about me. Because when I say it's about me, then it is NDC. That is not good enough. But having listened to people from various political parties or society, yes, they have agreed that the appointments were good.
Yeah, spot on.
Spot on. And when you take a look at three of them, all of them have been in their various ministries before as deputies. And so now they have been promoted. And whilst in opposition, they really talk about issues related to these ministries. So it is good. The only thing is that I'll continue to pray for them. I'll continue to pray for them.
Okay.
If Ghanaians have seen them to be very good, qualified, all they need right now is prayers.
Okay.
Not too much pressure so that they'll forget about what they have to do. Atufosin, Honorable, has even said that we'll go back to the IMF to renegotiate so that we can get more financing. That is good. He's been there with Setekbe. So we're looking forward for that, whatever we can do. Abu Jinapo, even though they said...
John Jinapo.
Sorry,
Abdullah.
John Jinapo, yes. Even though they said he was doing what? Rumor mongering or whatever it is. I think he's also been there. Work hard. Have a lot of information. All that Ghanaians are looking for is for them to manage the ministries and ensure that Ghanaians get benefit out of their leadership. And that is all. So we'll continue. I'm from NDC, so I don't have to be talking plenty. Hyping people, so, oh, it is all well. No. Even pastors says or tell their congregants to pray for them. You get me right? So we'll continue to pray for them and pray for His Excellency too. That going forward, the appointments you will be making, Ghanaians should accept all of them. Even if they will reject some, it should be very, very minimal.
Okay.
So that is what we are looking forward for. And we pray the listening ear should be there for all of them. So that we listen, the technocrats, some were calling Atufosin to work with the technocrats. Yes, because of the past experience we've had. So I am praying for all of them.
Okay.
Because we need a better Ghana. The Black Star must work again.
All right.
So, Honorable, may I ask you, why didn't we pray for Nanado?
Why
Didn't we pray for Nanado?
Oh God, I'm praying for Nanado.
No,
so that
then.
No, there are issues that we mentioned. And that is why the constitutional amendment is very critical to me. The president shouldn't just sit down and appoint his family people to post. Why people are saying no. I'm not the one who told.
But he needed press for that one.
You see,
he needed press for that.
But
he didn't listen.
Mr.
Because
Didn't you say?
When God tells us so many, we don't listen.
Earlier on, I was praying in the early days of 2017. I was praying for Nanado because he has been there. He is the Kumipreku leader and all the part of Kumipreku and
So
all
when
that.
did you stop praying for him? When did you stop? When he didn't listen?
When he refused to listen.
let me come to George. George, what are your thoughts on these first three appointments?
I don't know. You can give me intuition. Executive Secretary to the President, one Callistus Mahama. The aide-de-camp, ADC to the President. I think they say a certain camp. Whatever.
No, but Callistus, I'm told, is not his brother.
Don't worry, we'll go into it. Don't worry.
It's not his brother.
Don't worry.
No.
What's important is that
Because he has a name, Muhammad.
what's important?
Let the MPP start again.
Look, and they are not relatives.
You see, let me make
I say let them start again.
a quick intervention. I think the argument about the family and friends is that yes, as an individual, you cannot go into governance or go into. You have to work with trusted people, but there are certain limits where when it gets to, it becomes problematic. And the reason, I'm just making the point about family and friends and how and why it is important that we should not encourage it. As much as you need people you trust, there should be a limit to your immediate family and very close friends. Because when you do things that are wrong, you would not be in the position to sanction them. If Ken Ofori-Atta was not the president's relative or close associate, at the time the 80 or so MPs rose up and said, this man will be our undoing, let's get rid of him, perhaps the president would have felt easy to let go of him. So that is a telling example of why
I say if we see pointers of history recurring, we need to just
absolutely. It's very important.
Yeah, three names pointed. I'm happy with the names.
Okay.
I'm happy. I think it's a good appointment. Atufosin, he's been ranking on finance, and means he's aware of all the transactions and financial issues that were going on in the country. So he's in a better position to be able to take off immediately. He's not now going to be doing consultation and others and trying to be reading to understand the situation. He's been clothed with the situation all through because he's been ranking and he's conversant with all the transactions that went on. In fact, that's why he even had courage to say he's going to do renegotiation and others with the IMF because he knows the figures and all the details. So I'm happy he's been made the minister. And his young age too is something that I appreciate. Then my good friend and brother John Jinapo, is also somebody who has been very vocal in the energy sector. He seemed to have a special interest there. When they were in power before exiting, he was acting, deputy minister. He wasn't made to act, but he was in charge, when Dr. Kwabena Donko resigned. So he has an understanding of the sector, and I think the only thing that may make me get disappointed is if he's not able to deliver. Okay. Because he's somebody who is well positioned to be able to deliver in that sector. So I think it's a good pick by His Excellency the President. Who better than Dominic Ayine, Dr. Dominic Ayine? I understand my good friend and brother was also penciled there, but it's good he didn't go. Dr. Ayine, I'm talking of Edwiji Tamaklo, but I think it's good. Dr. Ayine is more experienced. I believe Edwiji may be somewhere else or maybe a deputy to Dr. Ayine. It wouldn't be a bad idea because in opposition he gave his all for the NDC as far as legal matters were concerned. So Dr. Ayine, I think it's good. These three names that the president has put out to serve as cabinet ministers. And these are cabinet ministers and these are the priority areas. It sends a good signal to me and to the international investment community. I think the three people, I don't have any qualms. We will wish them for the well. Rest. They will go. I believe they wouldn't have problems going through vetting. Some have reservations, but I don't want to begin to talk about the negatives now. Let's give them the benefit of doubt. Let them go through the vetting and then take office. Then we'll begin to look at other things. But I'm happy with the three names that have been put out.
All right. Mr. Jantua.
You are not behaving like a responsible
He's always been.
Responsible micro opposition.
I'll fight with you. This micro is break this. I'll fight with you.
Micro.
Micro can cause trouble. It can tease.
Mr. Jantua.
I reckon that the choices are based on ability and not capacity, which I think is a good thing on all three. All three have been there before. All three have seen the challenges. All three understand what it takes in the various ministries. But I think the main factor there is having a strong chief of staff, because it's the chief of staff's responsibility. Yes, and this is what I'm saying, to have a strong chief of staff to be able to execute the president's thoughts and vision. Without a strong chief of staff, it becomes very difficult. Unfortunately, in the last government, we didn't have a strong chief of staff. So ministers were doing whatever they wanted to do. So I think that is a good thing. It is important to make sure that the expectations are not expectations for those who are looking for the failure of the government. The expectations are not expectations for party members in terms of positions that they want, but the expectations are the expectations of Ghanaians. The vote that they voted, the massive vote they've given, a massive power they've given to the government, to make sure that Ghanaians are the expectation and to work according to Ghanaians. I've always said, President Mahama, when you look at his trajectory, and I said it on a few channels, he's been assemblyman. He's been a deputy minister. He's been a parliamentarian. He's been a vice president. He's been a president. But most interestingly and importantly, he's also gone into opposition.
So he's been a former president before.
And he's come back as a president. That value chain and expertise, I don't think any of the presidents have had it.
Yeah.
He's the one president in this Fourth Republic who has gone into opposition and come back. He's tested opposition whilst he's had the opportunity to come back. So he must be focused enough, and he must have the wherewithal and vision to reset the country as he wants to do. The challenge is those he takes. That's why it's important to have a strong chief of staff. And if the choices he's going to take are those who would look at the Ghanaian agenda and who would look at building the nation and not building a political party, then he's on course. If the situation where the party dictates, especially to parliament, then there's a problem. Huge problem there. But let's hope that the Ghanaian mantra is the one that moves forward. I like the situation where President Mahama is talking about constitutional review. I think it's a great thing for us to look at the Constitution. We've come here several times to talk about how this Constitution should be reviewed, but it should be done in such a way where there are no boycotts. Because I heard President Akufo-Addo mention that although he is not really he's not really for the change of the Constitution, his government did some work on the review, and he's going to pass all that information, plus what President Mahama and President Tamils did, so that at least it is up to the president to look at it. President Mahama yesterday indicated that it is something we would have to look at, and it's something we have to do. The transparency,
What about the Constitution?
in terms of some of the clauses in the Constitution, need to be looked at.
Is it the president is too powerful? Is that it?
Well, I don't know. There are quite a lot because the committee that was set up, that was headed by Cassidy, looked at quite a number of things. One of the areas she was even talking about when they interviewed her was the tenure of the president, whether it should be 5 years, it should be 7 years, whether to stay at 4 years. You know, people brought suggestions. I believe that a constitution that is 32 years old is old.
200 and something years.
Just a minute, let me finish. It's old, especially the fact that things happen in real time. This constitution was done when there was no AI. This constitution was done when quite a lot of things went in place. So it doesn't cover some of these things. We need to look at it. And as I told you, I think I brought it here before, the 998 pages
Almost
of the
1,000
yes
pages,
of the constitutional review document need to be gone into and to be looked at. So it's a good thing. The choices they've made so far, I think, are excellent choices, and the partnership, especially the partnership between the Ministry of Energy and the Ministry of Finance, to do with the cash waterfall mechanism. The financing of the energy sector, I think, is key, and something that the finance minister coming in and the energy minister coming in should really look at, because we need the finances to have a strong energy sector.
Okay. All right. And our very final topic would have to be brief on the current situation when it comes to our various senior high schools. CHAS this week has had reason to tell parents that when your children are coming to school, come with food to supplement what is available, because according to CHAS, they drew the attention of the SWAL administration, GES, under the SWAL administration, for the reopening date to be postponed because there are challenges in relation to food supplies. They are owing supplies, and so there is this sort of reluctance. There's a sort of reluctance to supply because of the debts in question. I'll start from you.
Sorry.
Bless you.
Bless me. This hardly happens that you're on radio and you're sneezing. But yeah.
There's always a day.
So, Mr. AC, I'll start off with you. Hearing Charles talk about the need for parents to give their children food when they are coming to school because of the shortfall in food supply, how does it make you feel?
It's propaganda by the Charles people.
You think it's propaganda?
Yes. There's the real situation is there, but that statement and was for a purpose.
And what purpose would that be?
They have not. Charles has mostly not been in favor of the centralized procurement processes. And you know, when it comes to the perishables and is decentralized. They have control over it. And President Mahama had said he was going to tax the headmasters to do those procurements and purchases and co. They love that. So they need, once there's a change in government, they wanted to send that signal out there to pollute the environment. In fact, there had been some, I've heard the PR of the Ministry of Education say they had released some monies to them. Okay, it may not be enough to cover all the debts, but some releases had been made. Okay, and so once school reopens and you make some part payment to your creditors, are you saying they are not going to come and give you supplies of perishable items and co? You get it. So I thought it was far-fetched. It's for a purpose for sentimentalism and then to make the government
even with
want
the knowledge
to engage them that the decentralized approach is so that they would take charge, of the procurement processes and co. That's what signals they were sending out. You get it.
Even with the knowledge that they had, appealed to or urged the GES to push forward the reopening date so that some of these things could be sorted out before the children.
The Ministry of Education and the GES had said, because of COVID, our timetable, so we needed to get back to the September this thing. So that was part of this thing. But to say, so some even went to the extent, I don't know how was it, you must come with yam planting and other things. I said, since when? There's been situations where schools feeding were not there, and when President Mahama was president before in the northern, when the scholarship issues were there for the northern schools and co. It's been a challenge, and I'm telling you, it's not going to end immediately. You get it? There's going to be that credit systems and co. But the headmasters want that attention to be brought so that the president's promise of getting them into the throes of the procurement and other things would be giving currency. But
that's that position.
But I thought it wasn't appropriate. You have an issue. There's a forum for you to engage and then to deal with that. But to send that panic, this thing into the system for parents and co, I don't think it was properly managed.
Now, if you say that it was just for propaganda purposes, does it not water down the real challenge of many of these schools? Because they said at a point in some of the schools they have to ration food. But so if you say it's propaganda,
and the schools, every day they fed them. The headmasters, they are the managers of the school. You get it? There are processes for managing the school. That's why you are the headmaster. You get it? I'm not sitting here to say there's not been indebtedness to people who supply and cook. There's been. But there's been money. As I said earlier in the energy sector, I said, how do you know whether we're buying it daily or 2 days and co? You get it? It's the same process of management by the headmasters. You get it? But I thought that release was not the best. You get it? But it had a purpose. You get it? And understand the purpose for which they did that. You get to get the attention of the president, and then, the president's promise of making them the centerpiece of procurement as far as the school feeding management processes are concerned. But I thought politically, that's why I use the word propaganda from them. Not because they are NDC, no. It's to serve their own interest.
Mr. Ashama, quickly.
The frog is dead. Now we are looking at the length of it.
What is dead?
The frog
is dead.
Is dead. So there's a proverb locally. So the frog is dead. Now the frog is dead. We put the meat down in and they say, it is not correct. It is not true. So that is the problem. We go to the energy sector, the mention problem. It is not like that. Now SHS, it is not like that. This is what NPP have taken us through for 8 years. They don't want to tell us the truth. The single decision by the government to centralize procurement is a bad news. Procurement of food is a bad news. George himself sitting down here, whilst he was in secondary school, who purchased food for him to eat? Who does that? Is it the government creating a secretariat? We were trying to undergo decentralization. This government came back and centralized some of the institutions. Why should you create a free SHS secretariat? Why the GES is there? In the GS system, we have matrons in every school collaborating with the accountants and then the headmasters to procure food. Domestic basis. That is what you are talking about. Why do you centralize it? Why do you centralize it? And now you are saying that is propaganda. That is bad. They've employed a lot of the MPP people in the whole secretariat. And they've given them contract to be buying food. The people in the pupils in school in Upper West, he said that the headmaster is saying that I have only rice.
So bring Chito and the rest.
Yes, I have only rice. Government should do something quick.
And will government do something quick, just as you have done with the energy sector? What is going to be done?
He's not going to stop the free SHS. It will continue.
I mean, that is a given. That is something he has said.
No,
but in relation to the challenges now, will there be something quickly done to help the schools?
Very, very sure. Because our children cannot stay home.
All right.
Even schools have started reopening.
Yes.
And they are going. But if the food is not there, let us accept that the food is not there. Right. It is all about bad planning. We said it so. Because the people at the secretariat are taking salaries in their pocket, the detriment of the government using that money to buy food for the students. Okay. Why do somebody have to take a contract from Accra, buy something from Accra to my constituency? Whilst the people around there are farmers. You don't promote farming locally. So that if the headmaster or the principals are saying, oh, we don't have this, so the farmers around should be called. They are the essential stakeholders to supply, so that they also make money. And then you create a secretariat. It is not about the whole food, total food.
Okay. Thank you very much.
No,
Mr. Jantua, in 2 minutes, so that we can wrap this
up. And
up.
your question is?
Would you want government to equally step in immediately to address this challenge at the senior high school? So the
when you say government step in immediately, to do what? To supply the food or to do?
Well, some intervention somehow, because the conference of heads of assisted senior high schools, they say that the parents should support when their children are coming. They should bring some food items to supplement what they have.
First of all, we need to identify the major problem.
Okay.
See how that major problem will be sorted out. But I think the schools should be given the mandate to buy their own food. Okay. During our time in secondary school, we also used to have school farms where there were certain foods we would grow ourselves. And I think the whole policy should be looked at again. I don't see how we should centralize it. But let me tell you, local government has been centralized into executive, which is a huge challenge for us today. We need to change that system and then make sure that it is done in such a way that the schools can supply food to their children. One thing in secondary school,
food is important.
If your chop box is empty and your friend's chop box is full, that is where the breaking of chop box comes in.
You know what I enjoyed in secondary? The food item of gas. Do you know why?
Is it a rocks?
The gas. No, that's soup. That
soup.
light.
Oh.
Do you know why I liked it?
Why?
I said it's the only soup that my mother cannot prepare in the house.
Oh dear.
It cannot be done in any house.
I would say I was lucky when I went to Form 1. My chop box was always full. My chop box was full.
Wait.
But I learned a lesson. A full chop box attracted
a lot of.
They will break it.
So you from one boy, you go to bed before the seniors go to bed. You have chop box room. Yeah. It's the seniors who have key to the chop box room. By the time you wake up in the morning, empty.
Empty. Wow.
Then they'll supply more.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me today for the weekly review segment.
We know
Mr. Jantua, yes?
You people didn't even give us hamper up for Christmas.
But I thought Ivy.
I case with you.
What's
One
the
of
case?
the cases, you were there at the white party and you didn't even.
Which white party?
You get it.
Which
I
white
saw it
party?
on TV.
Which white?
You were
That
there.
one.
Eh?
Oh, the one
All
you
of
call
us
it.
go. Eh, this one,
but no.